label. Anand Rathi and CNBC TV18 present Multiply Your Wealth the Uncomplicated Way.
How much money do you want to make every year? Now, that's perhaps an easy question to answer. But the more difficult and the more real question perhaps you have to think about is how to make that money, how to multiply your wealth the smart way. Setting up a financial goal might still be easier, but unless you know how to get to that goal, how to earn that income, make that money, and grow your wealth, it's perhaps going to be impossible for you to achieve that goal. And that's exactly what we will be going to learn today on our show called Multiply Your Wealth the Uncomplicated Way. To discuss this with us, we have with us Amit Rathi, MD of Anand Rathi Wealth Management, CL Bharadwaj, and Bhuvna Sriram, who is an independent wealth planner. Thank you very much, all three of you, for joining us in the studios, because the topic at hand is a fairly interesting one. You know, we have Amit, who, of course, heads one of the largest financial institutions out there, and, you know, you're looking at products, you're looking at clients, and, of course, you, madam, for sort of hand-holding a lot of the investors in the journey along the way.
Yeah.
And so you, of course, you come from the financial services industry yourself, but I'm guessing as a client, it could be a little different. So let me actually start with you. When you're thinking of managing your own personal wealth and personal finances, you know, what are the first things that come to mind?
The goals in life which I want to achieve is the first thing which comes to my mind. So that's where I spoke to Bhuvna to do a complete financial planning. Yeah, I work with the insurance industry, but at the same time, I have no time to dedicate my time and resources for managing my finances. So what is important for me is that am I ready and am I having a financial plan which helps me to achieve my goals in life? So if you ask me, that's the first priority which I had in mind.
Okay. Amit, your thoughts, because, you know, you've been in the wealth management business for such a long time, cutting across products, you know, different asset classes as well. How do you describe the current landscape with respect to, you know, the whole journey as Indians are looking at this whole wealth phenomena?
So I think, you know, what we've seen is last 15, 20 years, the kind of wealth creation is unparalleled. But at the same time, advice has not sort of kept pace. So you've got the top end of customers who've got 10 crores, 20 crores to invest. They've got, you know, some real quality advice that's, you know, made available to them. But then you have customers who have, you know, 10, 20 lakhs to a few crores. They are really sort of stuck for quality advice. And, you know, which is where most guys end up going to either banks or independent advisors. And both have limitations. So, you know, we've seen a lot of mis-selling from large financial institutions. You know, with independent advisors, I think the challenge has been saying, can they bring all the inputs on the table, even though they have client interests in mind? Can they bring all the inputs on the table for the customer for it to work? I think, you know, that's an area where sort of we're focused on right now, because, you know, we've scaled our advice business to large customers very, very well in the last 10 years. But it's the mass affluent segment where I think quality advice is lacking. And that's an opportunity for people to sort of get in. And if they can solve it in a creative manner, that's a big opportunity.
So before I get to Bhuvna, actually some more thoughts from both Amit and Mr. Bharadwaj to identify the issues right now. Do you, Amit, think that the issue is too much noise in the marketplace? Is the issue this information explosion? Or perhaps the biggest challenge is, you know, getting credible advice? How would you sort of pinpoint or, let's say, articulate the number of, you know, problems at hand?
So I think there are multiple pinpoints, right? So the first, of course, like you said, there's too much noise out there. And with social media, with digital, with television, 24/7, customers are confused. You know, clients are confused as to where they should be doing. You know, markets were looking good 1 month back. Suddenly, you know, headlines are very negative. So customers get confused. So, you know, the ability to distinguish, you know, information from noise and what is actionable information itself is a big challenge for customers, and that's one area that we want to solve for. The second is saying, can I get advice which is actually meant for me and puts me in the center and there are no conflicts? And the third challenge is, how do you get, you know, even if the right intentions in place, how do you get advisors or build a team of advisors that is well trained to deliver advice? I think that's, you know, the talent pool in India isn't, you know, we haven't had a wealth management industry for 50 years, and therefore there are thousands of advisors out there. Unfortunately, that's a challenge. So I think today, if one can solve that, and something that we are attempting to do with technology, and saying how do we sort of equip our, you know, team of advisors with technology that allows them to give, the right inputs to customers.
Okay. Bhuvna, your thoughts, because you've been doing this with clients for a while. Yeah. And some of the issues that Amit raised, I think the most important one of them being this whole the concept of mis-selling and not knowing what is it that you're actually buying, who's getting paid, what the models are, because the models are still evolving. Yep. And we're following sort of multiple approaches in India.
Yeah. So as an independent advisor, I've been working as a RM with wealth management firms. And when I chose to go independent, I just had one thing in mind. If I'm going to be advising somebody, it could be my family. I mean, I don't want to go out with the market with a proposition that I wouldn't give my sister. Right? So, and then integrity or no pressure for selling something this month end. So that's something you can't handle, right? If you have clients' interest in mind. In that sense, I think we had great alignment of interest with Anand Rathi. They were very clear, we're not going to do all this nonsensical stuff that the rest of the market does. We're going to be focused, we're going to have long-term vision, and which was great alignment in ourselves. So that makes the proposition that we take to our clients very compelling. Okay. That makes sales cycles, shorter, makes conversion easier, it helps you, and the technology backup helps you scale, have a reasonable scale business. You don't want to be a small fringe player if you're doing a good job, right? So to create scale, I think the backing of technology, you mind it off a lot of operational issues. So we're able to focus on the right things.
Yeah, we will spend some time talking about tech platforms in just a moment. But Mr. Bharadwaj, again, your thoughts as a client, what is the biggest bugbear for you when you're thinking of managing your money?
As I just told some time back, my biggest concern is whether I'll be able to achieve my goals in life or not. Now, the investing is just putting the money in some avenues. But whether the goals in life, because whether the investment I'm making will be able to help me to meet my needs or not. It's like doing a health check. So when you go for a health check, you find yourself completely before the medical practitioner, and he advises the right kind of diagnostic treatments. So exactly the same thing Bhavna did for me. So what happened is that then there's a complete stock taking of my current investments and what are my goals in life and where I need to invest, keeping the short-term and long-term things in mind. For example, my daughter's education, which we already planned, my daughter's marriage, then my post-retirement needs, my health insurance needs. It was a complete package, I would say. So now I need not worry about that. Yeah. So that's the thing which helped me a lot.
So, well, the question is that how can technology perhaps, become that bridge between good financial advice and the power of sort of, having the right algorithms work for you and picking the right products. And that is exactly what we are going to discuss on the other side of the break. So keep it with us.
Anand Rathi and CNBC TV 18 present Multiply Your Wealth the Uncomplicated Way.
Welcome back. Here with this special, we are discussing how to create, preserve, make well in the uncomplicated way. And we have a panel of experts to do just that for us today. Amit, now let's talk technology, because you guys have been dabbling and doing some experiments with, looking at building a platform. I keep hearing a lot about robo-advisory these days and whether that can actually bring down costs for clients. Your first thoughts on what technology is doing to the wealth management world?
I think technology will change the way wealth management happens. But I also believe that technology by itself is not sufficient. I think there is a lot of customer inertia that exists. There's a lot of customer coaching that needs to happen, and technology by itself is not sufficient. So we really believe that a mix of human handholding plus technology is probably the way forward. So technology will clearly change the way wealth is managed. And I think, in ways that we probably haven't seen 10 years back. So what we've attempted to do is really create a technology platform that takes the best bits of technology available today, so using algorithms that automate a lot of the things that we spend time on, which are actually rule-based. Calculating taxes, calculating reallocation decisions, giving the appropriate advice at the right point of time, sending research to client through videos, which are real-time. So combination, even reporting on access, on app, in-app information. And this is where we've realized that advisors and RMs or IFAs spend maybe 90-95% of time doing this, and just 5% actually trying to add value to customers. And we said, can we solve this 95% very, very well? And given the kind of experience that we have in the wealth management business, is something that we've sort of built into the technology platform. And our hope is that it benefits customers. For advisors or independent financial advisors who work with us on the platform, can we help them grow their business 3 times, 5 times, just by letting them focus on the stuff they really like doing and something that's adding value to their customers and to themselves, rather than focusing on saying, what transactions need to be done, if money needs to be withdrawn, where is an exit load, where do I have taxes, So simple stuff like that, I think technology is a great way of automating.
Okay, Bhuvna, your thoughts on this? Being an IFA and the need now to integrate digitally?
Yeah, so technology is a great enabler. I mean, I don't see that as a threat to an independent financial advice premise. As an independent advisor, I mean, it was important for me. I have been in salaried jobs, and it was important for me to have a good work-life balance. I have a son who's 10 years old, who's demanding, right? So to ensure that, I mean, I'm spending my time on things I like doing, which is meet people, talk to them, encourage them to invest, give them the vision, and doing the paperwork, and I mean, that's not something that I'm going to be enjoying doing. It's going to take away valuable time. So technology is a great enabler. The back-end service, clients like Mr. Bharadwaj get to see what he wants. He can just download the portfolio statement. He doesn't even have to call me to do that. Right? So there's so much, about 60-70% of the work is outsourced to technology. The 30% of the very critical work that the technology probably can't do is what is left to us to do. And that makes, if I'm handling 100 clients, I could potentially handle 500 clients with technology.
So what do these models do to the cost setup, Amit? I mean, how are costs changing within the wealth management business now?
So I think cost...
Because the reason I ask that is it'll have a direct bearing on the client at the end of the day.
No, absolutely. So I think the cost structure actually changes dramatically because the marginal cost of delivery, because if you don't need to have an army of support staff that's running around doing transactions, making Excel sheets, portfolios for clients, the marginal cost of delivery of advice to the incremental customer actually goes to near zero. And I think the combination of that plus, at least from our perspective, having a team of partners or independent financial advisors who are taking this advice to clients, it's almost like an Uber-like model. We don't need to create 100 branches across the country, create supervisory sales teams, which are actually not adding value, just asking people what they've done on a daily basis. If you can eliminate that entire cost structure, it brings the cost structure at a point where you can deliver conflict-free client-centric advice. I think that's the thing we're solving for. So it's not about reducing costs for client. It's about reducing costs for the institution delivering advice such that you can actually focus on the client interest first and not be forced to missell things just because you've created a bloated cost structure.
That's an interesting point. So, Mr. Bharadwaj, your thoughts on this, on, how your experiments with the digital platform have kind of panned out so far, and what you'd like to see, get improved?
It's been a wonderful experience for me, basically because it helps me to know where do I stand today in terms of my investments. It gives me the cost of investments, the mark-to-market value. So anytime I want, I can, on a daily basis, the apps gets updated. So it helps me to stand where I am today. Second thing is that it also gives you the target wealth. So on a daily basis, I know what is where I stand today, and of course, it also includes the future investments where I'm going to dedicate. So it helps me to understand that am I on track or not, which is very important. And because if any corrections needs to be made, the first thing we should know that what is the current position today. So it's a dynamic app. Second thing is that I also have my wife who is investing through Anand Rathi. So it helps me to give a family portfolio also, and equally, of course, the tax. Because when it comes to March, we always look at what is the tax liability, and with now equity also getting into long-term equity also getting into tax bracket now, so we have to take decisions based on tax. So it also helps me to know where do I stand today on the tax portfolio also. And apart from that, I also like the videos what Anand Rathi has posted, where I found that the wealth of information comes through videos. So it's like instead of reading something in the paper, it's wise to hear the Anand Rathi speaking to me on a video. So that's a wonderful experience. So things like this helps me to have a holistic experience, and anytime in the office or the home, I can look at this. So that's the wonderful, app, which has been developed by Anand Rathi.
Okay, well, on that note, we will take a break, but the conversation continues on the other side. How are technological platforms revolutionizing the world of wealth management? We are in discussion with our panel of experts.
Anand Rathi and CNBC TV 18 present Multiply Your Wealth the Uncomplicated Way.
Welcome back. Here with this special, and we're discussing how technology is changing the manner in which a lot of the wealth advisory services are being delivered. Amit, I want to get back to the point of cost, and I flip that around. It becomes a question of who's paying. So, once you get on a tech platform, is it a push model? I mean, how is it sort of gelling with traditional distribution? How is it gelling with the IFA model? And at the end of the day, as a customer, as a user, am I actually paying for the advice, or how does the sort of framework work?
It's not very different from the way the world operates today. So either an independent financial advisor or wealth management institution can make fees from either mutual fund product commissions or advisory fees, and both models coexist in the marketplace. So I think that technology doesn't change that piece. But having said that, the point that I made was that you still need a human front end to go shake up a customer, make them look at the current situation, get them to create a plan, implement that plan, and be there for them. And I think technology sort of enables us to fill gaps that an advisor might have in terms of infrastructure, in terms of inputs, in terms of products, and making available to them the complete proposition that we've delivered well to large customers, to the mass affluent, saying, can we enable an IFA to take the entire proposition to their own customers? And a lot of them are very experienced, but they always will have some gaps. And I think this platform allows us to fill those gaps.
Okay, fair enough. So, Bhuvna, when you're looking at sort of partnering with a tech solutions provider, what would you look for? Because there are so many apps in the market. There's so many people promising wealth management expertise delivered through the digital medium.
Yeah.
So, what stands out then?
So, I wouldn't call Anand Rathi a tech solution. I mean, they are a complete solution platform. My primary thing was an alignment of interest. Do they also have the customer interest in mind? So that was very important, because I was putting my head out, my neck out there, working with clients and friends and family, right? So that was very, very important. And to that, they've always lived up to it. In fact, the another one is, of course, when we talk client centricity, is right advice and at the least possible cost. They come primary, and they work wonderfully. Alternatively, when I look at a platform, I would look at revenue sharing, which also they're pretty aggressive with. So it's a good package. It helps me live have a good work-life balance, build my own client base.
Mr. Bharadwaj, your thoughts on this? I mean, what is it that will draw you to a technology platform? Is it going to be your relationship with the IFA? Is it going to be the brand and the credibility of the platform itself? Maybe a mix of everything? What is it that will make you actually believe in one particular tech solution?
Of course, I would look at the brand, because Anand Rathi in the market has a very good reputation, and they've been in this business for quite some time. So when Bhuvna approached me, one of the factors I considered is about the brand itself. Of course, so the technological solution, when it's bought by one of the market leaders, that's something which I will always trust, because I look for the brand whenever I buy anything. So that's something which gives me a lot of trust and confidence what they enjoy in the market.
Okay. So final thoughts, Amit, as we're wrapping up. You think that technology in a platform like the one that you have, is it primarily something that will drive a lot of business and volumes in, let's say, the top 5-6 cities? Or does it actually have the power to go beyond the B15 or the B30 as the mutual fund fraternity is now talking about?
We're not even sort of touching the tip of the iceberg today in terms of the market opportunity. And that's one of the reasons where we've created this model of partnering with independent advisors. Because, we have today 200 full-time advisors on our platform who are employees of the firm. But can we take it to 400, 500? At some point, you hit a limitation. But there are tens of thousands of independent advisors operating even in tier 2 towns, tier 3 towns, in major cities. And we're saying, how do we sort of enable these guys to reach out to their customers with a proposition that makes sense for everybody in the value chain? So I think the opportunity is immense, and for us, we're probably, super excited given the kind of sort of regulatory focus also that's coming in how suitable advice is delivered to clients, how clients themselves are smartening up and starting to figure, what's happening. Third, we're seeing clients also sort of realizing the limitations of traditional investment avenues, fixed deposits, insurance policies or real estate. And people are now starting to look at aspirational goals. And therefore, the need for sort of comprehensive financial advice is really being felt.
Well, some interesting thoughts and the power of technology here to help all of us. Thank you very much for joining in and shedding light on this very interesting subject. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
That's it on this special. Thank you for watching.
Anand Rathi and CNBC TV 18 present Multiply Your Wealth the Uncomplicated Way. Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.